Let me just introduce myself very quickly. My name is Mohammed Odeh. I'm a teaching assistant professor at Penn State, Behrend in Erie, Pennsylvania. Before that, I was in the industry. I worked in project management, different capacities for well over 30 years. So basically, my research or my work revolves around innovation and the impact of emerging technologies in project management. Now, if you review the literature today, and you will find a lot of it talk about why projects fail and the percentages of project fail, and you look to different reasons, regardless whether it's on time or on budget or scope creep or whatever. So I'm just using a simple, authentic, data that is coming from the PMI, the Pulse of the Profession, and this is an annual report that comes out every year that talks about the different aspects of project management. And I just picked up the statistics just to illustrate a point. So basically, they've been talking about this for a very long time. And the in principle, the concept of it is, projects do fail, dramatically over, for a number of reasons. And we can go into a lot of discussion as to why and what's the the countermeasures that we can take into trying to do them better. But really, I mean, do we continue doing the same tools, or advance the tools or the techniques, or look at things from a different angle, or do we really need some sort of an overhaul, a transformation? Now, transformation is a journey. It's not something like you just simply, as we all know, you flip the switch and you transform. It's a journey that that we go through. And basically, the objective of it is to transfer two things: to transfer project managers into leaders, and to transfer PMOs into innovative PMOs. So the proposed innovation, as a result, this comes from both research experience. And at the same time, it's a work in progress. So it's by no means a carved in stone framework, but rather a stepping stone. If I may. So the framework talks about transforming the current framework, or moving it from a traditional to a transformative, and basically it's based on two domains. Now, there are so many different flavors of IPMOs, of PMOs, for example. You hear about the project management office, the strategic project management office, the organizational level project management office, and so on and so forth. What I'm really calling for is an innovative project management office, which basically relieves the idea behind it is to relieve the project managers, or the project leaders rather, from a lot of the legwork, a lot of the just worrying about the traditional things of just balancing constraints. No longer should they just they need to worry about balancing constraints in terms of time, cost, and scope, and budget, and so on. But they need to think beyond that. They need to think a little bit more innovative. So the idea behind it is to have this done at the PMO level, where they can make use of the analytics and the use cases and the emerging technologies, such as the big data analytics and artificial intelligence. Now, artificial intelligence could be used in so many different ways, and I'm not talking about the pure machine learning or the pure robotics part of it, but I'm talking about the information intelligence part of it. So if we were to give that sort of task or activity to the PMO to come up with, to use information intelligently, gather information intelligently, use it, come up with more advanced and more innovative tools and techniques, and at the same time handle the integration collaboration, come up with a dynamic resource model that can not only address the resource requirements of the project, but try to forecast the requirements of the project for for not only the current project, but for for so many different projects. And they will also be in charge of the total quality management. So a systematic way of conveying quality standards, quality management, and quality controls, and so on. That would, in my mind, and in the proposed framework, relieve the project manager or the project leader from those activities, and they will help, or they will just feed into the project leader to use those and to utilize and to benefit from them. And they will focus on managing and controlling the project from a plan, execution, monitor, and all the the life cycle that we're all familiar with, and at the same time help the project manager or the project leader rather with risk identification, time management, budget, scope, and so on and so forth. So basically, the proposed framework is sort of a marriage between the PMO and the project leader activities and tasks, so that we can hopefully create that leadership qualities. So if you can move to the next slide, I can explain a little bit. So basically, the divorce away or move away from the traditional practices of having the project managers focus on balancing constraints, and at the same time having the PMO focus on just pushing controls and pushing the organizational standards and methodologies, but rather come up with innovative ways of using the technology that's available to us today. The science is in our side. The weight of science is on our side, and we can take advantage of it. So these things like coming up with apply analytics and identify use cases, and the proper use of artificial intelligence and information intelligence, and like I said earlier, coming up with a dynamic resource management and an innovative way of identifying, mitigating, analyzing, and mitigating risk. Basically, hopefully, we can reach a formula where the project leaders are focusing on creating value, focusing on effectiveness rather than think beyond effectiveness and balancing the constraints. So basically, the job of the project leader would be, rather than worrying about what the project is the operation of the project or the day-to-day tasks and activities of the project, but rather create or influence the outcome and influence the the organization as a whole. If you could go to the last slide, please. Now, the research tells us a lot about literature tells us a lot about management leadership qualities, but I wanted to sort of dissect that a little bit and put it in 3 different categories, where hopefully we can create that leadership part of the project manager, or transform the project managers into project leaders, so that they can start thinking conceptually, and they have they would have more time and more effort put into coming up with innovative ways of approaches to solving problems, and of course embrace technologies, because the advancement in technology, whether we like it or not, it is basically forcing us as a community, not as a project manager, but as a whole, to use their effect and their impact. So we cannot just simply shy away from what the technology is doing and the advancement. We can just simply try to embrace it and use the best out of it to come up with that formula that will give us leaders that can think conceptually and not transactionally, and at the same time be accountable, and at the same time enable the team. The more the team leader enables the team in terms of giving them the power and listening to their ideas and initiatives, the more chances we have of successful projects, and that will hopefully help us, with trying to, where we have the success, the needle of the success rate twitching upwards. And then, of course, another thing is that is also an important quality of project leadership is being engaged. doing the competency assessment and performance review. And this is a continuous process. Motivate, inspire the team, share the knowledge, try to come up with a way to translate tacit knowledge into explicit knowledge, so that the PMO, so that the results of the current project that they are working on can feed back into the PMO, into the knowledge base. And this is sort of a loop that the PMO will benefit from the ever expanding set of information that comes out of project, and at the same time it feeds back into the project leaders to use and have a better chance of managing projects. Thank you very much for having me and for the time to share this some of these thoughts with you. Thank you.